Marriage isn't 50-50, it's 100-100. Hello, Internet. This is Vladimir Nemchinov with InvestSteady.com. Today we're going to talk about marriage and teaming up with your spouse. Splitting bills creates roommates, not partners. When everything is your half and my half, unity disappears. Marriage works best when household wins together. This is, my best friend once told me, that marriage could be the best relationship you ever had or the worst relationship you ever had. Hopefully in the category of the best relationship I've ever had, you ever had. This is my best relationship. Not perfect, but it's the best. So, with finances, we are a team. We work together towards the same goal, or are we doing our own thing? I hope you guys are in the camp where both of you work together towards the same goal, financial goal at that, since we are talking about finances. Debt belongs to the team. If one spouse is in debt and affects both futures, attacking it together instead of isolating it. Recently, clients in a situation that they are in the retirement age, and one of the spouses have tens of thousands of dollars in credit card debt that they pay interest on, and the other spouse has no debt and actually have a lot of cash sitting in the bank. Of course, nobody asked me for my marital advice. However, just like with the wealth map, right? A wealth game. Each level of the wealth game done faster and better, more efficient if it's done one at a time. If you're trying to do many things at the same time, you're going to be mediocre at all of them. Versus you focus on one, get it knocked out, go to the next level. Same thing here. Yes, you might be, even if your money invested at 10%, let's say S&P 500 return, but your spouse is paying 25%. Are you better off? I also have met people that don't worry about other person's retirement, and what basically end up happening, they can retire while their spouse has to work for many more years to get out of debt before they can even think about retirement. Oh man, I love my spouse. I love my wife more than that. I don't want that to be the case. Okay? So it is perfect, and obviously not all relationships are perfect, and neither our relationship are perfect. But in a perfect world, you want to be together as one, getting to the same goal. Let's say I have $10,000 in debt and my wife has $50,000 in savings. Well, we need to figure out the problem. Why I have $10,000 in debt? Is it credit cards? Okay, so what credit cards mean? That means I am spending more than I can afford. That's why I go in debt on credit cards. So the problem needs to be addressed. Don't get me wrong. You can't just throw 10,000. Oh, let's pay it off. We're gonna have 40 net off of that. But if the problem is not resolved, is the spouse still have a credit card, they will still use it. Now that their debt zeroed basically back to nothing, they'll be like, oh, let's use credit card. The problem needs to be addressed. So if they have a spending problem or if they have credit cards, those need to be addressed. There need to be agreement. We're not using credit cards anymore as a family, and we're putting our money together and we working together towards the same goal. The unity in marriage, it's amazing, and it's hard to achieve because we are different people, right? But that's the goal. Retirement is a shared finish line. If one spouse is ready and the other isn't, tension grows. Planning together creates clarity and peace. You're at the retirement age or getting there. Or better yet, you're at 20, you are married and you're not even thinking about retirement. Maybe think about retirement and see what is the goal. So you're on the same page. Yes, one of you wants Bentley right now and the other one wants not to work at Walmart at the age 70. Maybe find a middle ground. That's where I'm striving towards in my marriage. But that's what we're talking about. That how that can help or actually not help us in our future and in our planning in finances. Okay, income differences don't matter in a real partnership. One may earn more, one may manage the home. Both contributions matter. It is very important that yes, maybe I am the main primary breadwinner, right? And my wife may be taking care of household primarily, kids, cooking, and doing all kinds of jobs here at home. Maybe working on the side. Regardless of the situation, it is best when we sit down together and we decide our plans together. Okay, what are we doing with our money? Not my money that I brought, but our money. This is our monthly income with your input, with my input. All right, these are our expenses. Just like level one in the wealth game, budget. We need to come together to budget. Or we have a Russian parable of three animals that the crowfish, the swan, and pike fish, right? And the parable goes that everybody is trying to pull on the same load, but the problem is they all pull in a different direction, right? The pike swims away, the crayfish try to get to the bottom of the water body, and the swan or a goose or whatever trying to fly away, and everybody pulling in a different direction. Same thing in marriage. There's only two people, but same thing can apply, and people can pull in a different directions. Yes, I want this kind of house. Yes, I want this kind of car. Oh no, I want to put more money into retirement. I want to put more money into our kids' education. It is very hard, and again, it's mediocre if we're not on the same team, not on the same page, and doing different things. So that is the point of that. We all come together, all income comes together, all expenses decided together, right? Before we agree, we should not be spending on anything, right? So we have discretionary. Some people call discretionary, we call it pocket money. If this is in my pocket money every month, I don't need to ask my spouse, right? $100 a month, let's say. I don't just ask her if I'm buying a chewing gum there or some chocolate bars, maybe not. But on the bigger things, okay, this is $100 goes for you, goes for me every month. I like to take it out, withdraw from account in cash. So this way I know, okay, I have $100. Yeah, I can spend it all at once and then not be able to buy anything for the rest of the month, for example, right? Or every paycheck, every 2 weeks, I get $50, for example. Everything else, all the major stuff, the bills are kind of decided already, but the rest stuff, are we buying another investment property? All right, so we need to put money for that. Or we're buying a new car, or we need to buy a new car in 10 years. New to us, not brand new, since those lose value pretty quick. Anyways, the new value of the car. All right, wealth multiplies when communication improves. Transparency removes stress. Alignment speeds progress. Unity builds confidence. And that is something to long for in general in a relationship, right? Transparency, when you can trust each other in bed or you can trust each other with any conversation, that speeds up the progress. Okay, we are on the same goal. Yes, I want to have some donuts, but this is our goal. Do we want to have donuts? Yeah, it's not worth it. Our goal is bigger. Let's say fund kids' education, right? Unity builds confidence. We are confined in each other, right? We are a team. I love my wife. I want the best for her. I want the best for our family. Same thing for her. She wants the best for me. She wants the best for our family. And as a team, we're not lone wolves there in the field somewhere trying to accomplish stuff, but we are together as one team. And this is my prayer for everybody who's watching this, as well as something that I would like to see in my family more and more. Um, if you are married, your biggest financial asset isn't your 401k, it's your partnership. Um, and I agree with that. Another Russian saying we have. The reason I'm sharing that is because I kind of grew up with those, and there's a song that I would rather live in a tent with somebody I love than in a palace, basically by myself. Something like that. Obviously, it's just good saying, but I always thought about that, and in love, I can suffer through a lot of stuff when I'm being loved and being appreciated by my spouse. Um, yes, rentals are good. Net worth is good, but it's shallow if I don't have somebody to share that with, and that's my goal. That's my prayer for our relationship, that I can come and confide when you have confidence in somebody. I don't know, that word escaping me. Maybe I said it right, but I want to see that in my wife, and hopefully she can and is willing to see that in me. All right, let's look at questions. Questions. First question: married couple looking for advice. We have been married for over a year and have recently been gifted $8,000. We live in the Midwest and live a relatively cheap lifestyle. We are not struggling with bills or living expenses. Just wondering if it would be best to use this money for one of the debts, or to invest it into a CD account, or investing or similar, or something similar. Debt: mortgage $99,000, vehicle $17,000, and they talk about the interest rate there. Interest does not matter to me. Well, $8,000. Um, it's very simple. No matter what situation is, the wealth game applies. Level one: figure out your budget, see what needs to be done. Here, married couple, if you have kids, you definitely need life insurance to protect the income in case something happens to one or the other of you. Next step would be to put away $1,000 for a starter emergency fund. So if you have that, then great. If you don't, out of $8,000, you take 1,000, put it into a separate saving account. That's going to be a starter emergency fund. Everything else put towards your debt. If these are the only two debts you have, mortgage and vehicle, vehicle would be considered a consumer debt. So you have 17,000 that you owe on it. I would put all the remaining 7,000 towards that vehicle, and that will pay off a big chunk of the vehicle, right? So your payment maybe get lower, or you will just have less time to pay for it, depending how you figure that out. But from then, I would next level would be to pay off for your consumer debt, which at that point you will have $10,000 in your vehicle. And I would put all potential money, all margin between what you're making and what you're spending into paying off that vehicle. So once that's paid off, if you put $1,000, you're done under a year. If you put 2,000, obviously you're done in 5 months. So this is how the wealth game works. From there, I would just follow the money, the wealth game. Okay. The next step would be paying off all the consumer debt, then increasing your emergency fund to 3 to 6 months of expenses. And if you have that right now, I would throw it towards the consumer debt, and would leave just $1,000 in emergency fund or starter emergency fund. Okay, and that's what I would do in this situation. Okay, Next question for soon to be married and confused people. All right, guys, me and the fiance are planning to get married 12/31/21. Well, that's an old question. I'm trying to get us financially set up a bit better with an emergency fund and correct amount of dollars at all times in accounts. Right now, I make probably double her salary, but we still go 50/50 or roughly 60/40 or 70/30 if needed. Basically, we work together but have separate bank accounts and such because she has her own business accounts and such for her work. What are you married people doing with accounts and budgeting? Are you combining and using a formula to track what's what? Do you keep separate ones and make a joint account that both add to for bills and groceries and such? I'm open to suggestions for a married couple finances and how you do this money wise. Thanks in advice. All right, so a couple things. You're not married, you do not combine your finances, period. The end of story. Yeah, you might be living together and you're roommates, but until you are married, you are not married. So do not combine anything. In your case, by now, hopefully you're married. Once you are married, for us, it's very simple. We have one checking account. I take that back. Currently, since we were trying to figure stuff out, my wife also has her own checking account where her money goes to. But that's not ideal, and we're working on changing that and fixing that. The goal is to put all the money into one checking account. You can have saving account or several saving accounts. Both of your on. It's all your money. It's not mine, yours, but it's all together your money. That's where a budget come in. You sit together and you figure out where the money goes. So for me, I have also a business account, business checking account with all the rentals and all the income from there, basically. But if you just have two jobs or whatever jobs, you put all the money into one checking account from where you can set up one saving account for emergency fund. From there, you can put a sinking fund for a vehicle, for example, for saving or something like that. You can have as many savings as you need to. I used up to 8 savings at some point to organize my finances, and I was saving for this, that, or the other. And that's it. All money goes there. It's all simple. No credit cards, just debit card for each of you for that checking account. And that's it. Simple. No problem whatsoever. That is, I think, is the best way to go when you're married. Okie dokie. That's answer a little late. 5 years later. Okay, next question. The pitfalls of one spouse managing all household. So basically, in this question, the lady manages everything. Uh, we're gonna pick up here. I manage everything. My husband does not have a clue about anything because he is simply not interested. I work in finance, so for me it is enjoyable to do all of this, but I am also thinking that something happens to me and I become unable to run the house for a while, what he's gonna do. I tried sitting him down a few times and at least explain the basics, except he is just not paying attention. He doesn't even know how much our mortgage payment is or when it's due. I make sure our cards are paid off in full every month, our bills are taken care of, insurance is renewed, so on. While I'm perfectly happy with taking care of everything, I can't ignore the obvious pitfalls. Should we work on getting him gradually familiar with running our finances, at least at the very bare minimum, or just continue as it is? Ooh, well, just like I was answering the previous question, it is, of course, ideal that both sit down Unfortunately, a lot of times in this case, it's wife actually doing that, and husband doesn't want to do anything with that. But generally, it's a rather another way around, when husband is doing all the finances and the wife taking care of kids and household, and not really knowing what's going on. And if something happens, God forbid, with the husband, and the wife um, not only have to grieve now the loss of the husband, but also now have to figure out from zero everything. And that, man, it's complicated. Even in the setup, like I just said, one checking account, everything goes in, everything goes out of that checking account. It still would have to be work, right? So in ideal world, yes, you want to be sitting together. So this way, you not um, bearing the burden of this knowledge and all responsibility on your own. Because there was time in my life when that was the case, and the unfortunate part, or the heavy part of that burden, is you're the one who knows where money is going, and your spouse does not. And if he wants to spend more money on something or buy some kind of toy, and you'll have to say, no, wait a minute, we don't have enough money for that. In this case, they are, I was going to say single, but they don't have any kids, so they make good money. And so that never came up as a problem. But once kids get introduced into marriage, into the family, starting your own family, um, now expenses are different, and now you have to be more thoughtful of where your money goes, and you'll have to choose. Okay, do I want a Lamborghini, or maybe I want diapers? So it's going to be a point of a problematic point at some point. So yes, it's good for you to be on the same page, and it's definitely the best. This way, at least you're familiar with what's going on, and then together you make decisions and meet together weekly, um, to look into finances. Okay, what are we planning on doing on this month with our finances? And everything is doing good. If everything is going good, everything is going good. Good, we're moving on. Because in this case, if something happens, unfortunately, if he is that stubborn and doesn't want to know anything, just doesn't care about money, and there are some people like that. Um, God forbid something happens, he's gonna have to learn the hard way. He will be organizing potentially funeral, and figuring out, okay, how do I pay mortgage? How much do I pay for mortgage? Where do I pay mortgage? For me, we have several properties, and I actually need to write down which property has what mortgage, or what company mortgage is with, or insurance. Recently, I was asked for insurance for one of the properties, and I did not remember. So I had to ask my agent to tell me what company do I have insurance with. And just because I didn't write it down, I had no record of it. I started the insurance a few months back when we got the property, and I didn't write it down anywhere. It looks like paid for it. I could find it, I guess, but still, it needed for me to research. Like if something happens to me, my wife would know who is the um, our insurance agent for all the properties. You know what I mean? But that's the information, that's actually due diligence that I need to do on my end. So in case something happens to me, she knows who to contact for insurance money, for example, but also for now with all the properties, how to sell them, how to make sure the money is coming in still, since tenants live there. That's gonna be harder, obviously. So this is responsibility of mine for us to sit together and figure it out. Okay, these are our properties. Okay, this is a list of properties. This is where they are. Where the physical address is, and then who lives there, how do they pay, access to all the accounts. It's all on my phone, and my wife has access to my phone, if she remembers the code. But all access is through my phone. So yes. Let's go to the next question. Please help. I need an assessment of how my wife and I are doing for our age. My wife and I are currently having marital issues due perception of our current financial well-being. My wife believes that we are not financially well for our age. In order to sort the problem out, I ended up with the idea of creating a throwaway account on the Reddit and asking for your opinions. We currently do not have a financial advisor. The question we have is whether or not we are in strong position for our age. We are in our early to mid 30s. We have a baby due in a short while and have no debt at all. We both fully own our cars. My wife's car is old but reliable. My car is new and I bought it a few years before we got married. It is fully paid off. We currently live in New York and plan on moving to another state that is more affordable. Our current funds are allocated accordingly. High interest savings, 187,000. We keep it here to avoid market turmoil, as this will be our home down payment with when we buy soon. Okay. All right, yeah, that's for sure. That's why I was like, what does that mean? But okay, so they saving for down payment, and that's a lot of money. Especially if you're moving soon, that's like more than half a house right there. CD 60K, checking 13K, individual stocks 157,500. Vanguard Roth IRA 69K, Vanguard brokerage 40K, 401K 70K, 403B 13,000. Okay, my yearly income is 115,000. My wife's 75. Man, this is a longer question, but well, let's see if we can ask ChatGPT what is average net worth in USA around mid 30s. All right, let's see what ChatGPT say about the average net worth. Average net worth around half a million, includes homes. Median is 138. All right. Okay, so they have 187 plus they have 60. That's 240, 247, 250, 260, 3, 4. Yeah, they're about average. Definitely higher than median. So, not to worry, guys. This is definitely you in good position. You have looks like you have your head on your head very well. So that's good. That's good. Mid 30s, nobody has that. I am 40, turned last year, and this is our net worth. Maybe not including some little stuff, but yeah, and I'm older, so we should be, I guess, higher than this according to the average. An average, of course, includes all the millionaires and gazillionaires at this age. So not too bad, not too bad, I think. All right, let's move on. Okay, one more question. My wife and I need help. Hello. All really need advice. My wife and I are both school teachers in Fort Worth, Texas. We are each making a salary of mid 50s, but we have 3 daughters under the age of 5 that are in daycare, and that end up roughly 30% of our take-home income after rent, tuition, monthly expenses, etc. We struggle every month to make ends meet, to the point that it spikes my anxiety hard enough to shut me down every time we try to get a handle on our finances. So I have read this question previously, and basically he's saying that they don't have time or energy to figure that out, and sometimes they have time and energy, but then his anxiety shuts down and he just kind of avoid. Guys, it's all a matter of priorities. Yes, you're a teacher. It is, you know how to prioritize some lesson over another, and same here. Yes, I mean, if you're going to be ostrich and put your head in the sand, yes, I mean, you're going to avoid the conversation, but you're never going to pass that. And they're talking about how their in-laws giving them hard time. Who cares about in-laws? You guys need to decide. You need to be on the same page, like we were talking about earlier. This is your marriage. You put together your heads. Guys, Screen is dark, so that means I need to get going. I appreciate you joining me today.